the viewers watching live and exclusively on Sky Sports Friday Fight Night. The officials have been appointed by the WBO and the British Boxing Board of Control. Supervisor at ringside for the World Boxing Organisation is Mr. Robert Smith. Area representative from the British Boxing Board of Control, Trevor Callahan. Their steward in charge, Jeff Bolter. The timekeeper at the bell is Mr. Gary Grenham from Burnley. The three scoring judges at ringside this evening are all from England, namely Roy Francis, Dave Paris, and Mickey Vann. Finally, when the action commences, the star referee, in sole charge of the action, a warm Yorkshire welcome, please, for Paul Thomas from Derby. And so, on to the boxers themselves. Introducing to you firstly, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red coloured shorts, trimmed with black and white. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 10 stones and 6 pounds. He has an excellent record, 12 contests, 11 wins. 3 of those wins coming by way of knockout with only 1 defeat. He was a representative for his country at the 2002 Commonwealth Games, presenting from Glossop via his homeland of Namibia, Ali, the silent assassin, Nuumbembe. And opposing him, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing his familiar white coloured shorts trimmed with blue and the red cross. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled on the championship limit of 10 stones, 7 pounds exactly. He has a proud, unblemished record, 17 contests, 17 wins. 9 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Coming to the ring this evening as the current welterweight champion of Great Britain, presenting from Manchester, the undefeated David Barnes. Referee Paul Thomas. Final instructions, 12 rounds of championship boxing.
Okay, fellas, we've gone through the rules. Remember, keep your shots on the target area. Nothing around the back here, nothing in the kidney area. And one final reminder, remember to defend yourself at all times, unless you hear me shout, stop boxing. Touch gloves, best of luck to both of you.
Hastily rearranged clash here in the 10 stone 7 welterweight division. Manchester's unbeaten British champion David Barnes, who was set to challenge for the Commonwealth belt, but holder Joshua Okine was unable to get a visa, and at 5 days' notice, in steps a tough-looking test in Ali Nuumbembe, accomplished Namibian amateur with a solid professional record. It looks a decent match on paper. Nuumbembe with nothing to lose, I guess, Jim, as he tries to burst the Barnes bubble.
Yeah, well, this is a fight that if he does lose but puts up a good show, his own reputation will be enhanced. Absolutely nothing to lose. He's not expected to win here. A lot of people maybe don't even expect him to put up a good show. So everything to gain, nothing to lose. And I'm sure, speaking to him, hearing him speak before the fight, he intends to grab this opportunity.
One other interesting thing to add is that they have sparred together before. So maybe they know who the better fighter is deep down. It's David Barnes, the southpaw, in the familiar white skirt with the red cross and the red and black of the silent assassin, Ali Nuumbembe.
See, Barnes only seems to show his best form when something's at stake that he's worried about. So, I mean, we saw him up in Glasgow, a 10-round exhibition. He didn't really put the foot to the floor at any time. So we hope he looks upon this as a serious fight, because it is.
Yes, he's coming off that easy decision over the Finnish former amateur star duo Tolpola in January. Never really got out of third gear, just eased his way home. Will he look more exciting? Will he make a real statement tonight for the Barnsley crowd? Right hands coming forward. Nuumbembe, tough, gritty sort, who's only lost once as a professional, and that was disputed back in Namibia. So he's really an unbeaten fighter too.
Yep, and as I said earlier, untested, so we don't know what he's capable of, but he's tumbled the southpaw. The first thing you do with a southpaw is move him in a clockwise direction. He's done that all through the first round. Cagey opening round, but the only decent shots have come from Nuumbembe, so Barnes wants to get his act together and do it quickly. Still being pushed clockwise.
Nuumbembe fit, even though he has taken the fight this week, was slated to appear next Monday in Scotland, but grabbed the opportunity. Big chance for him. Heads clashing together. Decent start from the Namibian. One of David Barnes' biggest supporters, Ricky the Hitman Hatton, who has a job himself to do, the biggest of his career, in 6 weeks' time against the world-like welterweight king Kostya Tszyu. For now, a chance to mull over a former colleague in the junior ranks. He said David Barnes was breathtaking then, and he's been doing efficient work as a pro as well. 17-0. Latest assignment against Ali Nuumbembe, who's in his 13th fight. He's won 11, and this is the big step up. It looks like, Jim, he's relishing it.
Yeah, very, very cagey opening 2 minutes. And just when I think Barnes had settled down to wait for the bell, thinking it was a round, nothing would happen. Nuumbembe spun a couple of little surprises, got home with some punches, some decent attacks, and for me, it's nicked him the round. So that'll have built his confidence a little bit, and he's pushing Barnes back. He's pushing him clockwise, and as I say, that's the first thing you want. That's the first problem you want to solve with a southpaw. Push him in your direction.
Right hand from Nuumbembe. Just catching David Barnes with a bit of surprise. This is a decent fighter who claims an amateur record of 143 wins in 154 bouts. Bronze at the Commonwealth Games, unheralded, largely unheard of here.
Nuumbembe has a kind of confident, thoughtful look. He knows exactly, he doesn't waste moves, he doesn't waste punches. He's taking his time. Barnes is going to have to move up a couple of gears here to stay with this fellow. Barnes far too casual. Counter punching's not working. He has to take some of the initiative away from this fellow.
The fans who have made the trip over from Glossop in Derbyshire, the pub crowd behind where Ali Nuumbembe has a caravan are making huge amounts of noise. They were booing David Barnes as he came into the ring. Big pressure on the shoulders of the British welterweight champion here.
Well, Barnes is trying to counter a fellow who is not making any mistakes. So Barnes is virtually doing nothing here. He's going to have to take the bull by the horns, maybe start trying to back this fellow up. What he's doing at the moment is not working. Nuumbembe felt himself being sucked into something there, so he just walked away and started again. Yep, experience beyond his record, I would say.
Maybe that's why Nuumbembe has been largely avoided since he turned pro in April 2003. This could be very interesting indeed. At ringside, just starting to rally to the cause of Ali Nuumbembe. Bob Shannon with him. They jumped at this chance. take it.
Tune yourself in all the time, Ali, now. Remember, don't do anything silly on the wrong return.
Rather a quiet, maybe dispirited corner around David Barnes. Here's a third round, scheduled for 12. We're in the 10 stone 7 welterweight division. Good start from the massive underdog, Ali Nuumbembe. 8-1 against. David Barnes 33-1 on to win this fight. And at the moment, he hasn't got in it.
He hasn't really landed a worthwhile punch in the first couple of rounds. I thought the 12-round distance would give Barnes a massive advantage, but not when you don't set the pace and let the other fellow box at exactly the pace he's comfortable with. Barnes should be moving this fellow back, forcing him to work, forcing him to make some mistakes. But he's trying to counter, as I say, against a fellow who's so precise and not making any mistakes.
Trying to get combinations together, wrestle each other. I wonder whether the natural strength lies in this fight. David Barnes often says he could make light welterweight at 10 stone. Nuumbembe looks a solid welter.
Well, he's winning the battle of the leading hands at the moment. Barnes' southpaw jab has had no impact on the action whatsoever so far.
Tries to come forward for the first time, plant his feet. David Barnes. The plan always was to have a look at Nuumbembe and start to pick him off slowly but surely. They know he's tough because they sparred together.
Yeah, but the fact that they sparred together and Nuumbembe still fancies the job, well, that tells you he's a confident fellow. But it also reminds us a spar and an actual fight, not in the same planet.
Wild lunges from Nuumbembe, aggressive at times, thoughtful at others, and looking for that right hand.
Well, the impressive work is coming from Nuumbembe. Barnes looking a little bit disjointed, still trying to counter with little popping punches. Nuumbembe is the one putting some snap into the shots. A lot of missing in this round, right enough.
Amateur experience versus professional experience. David Barnes, who won the Lonsdale belt outright with that terrific 6-round demolition of James Hare. And many people at ringside thought he might just have the class to go on a couple of levels.
This weekend, live on Sky Sports, the Heineken Cup semi-finals. Saturday from 2:30, French champions Stade Francais take on last year's semi-finalists.
It's a simple run-in for Biarritz.
Then, Sunday...
Nonetheless, from David Barnes on the left of your screens there. You see the power of Barnes. Double percentage. He stopped 9 of his 17. Nuumbembe only 3 of his 11. But so far, Jim, what do you reckon of the Namibian?
Yep, he's settled. He's first one to settle, first one to show some decent moves. For me, Barnes is still the one not yet performing.
Nuumbembe trying to rough David Barnes up, turn it into his sort of a fight, but a nice crisp counter from the British champion. Best shot so far for David Barnes.
That's exactly what Barnes needs. He needs to know he has the power to shake this fella. That was a good shot. But the work leading up to it was very messy.
Right back from Nuumbembe, who certainly fancies that he can take the fight to David Barnes.
Well, for a man with only 3 stoppages, that's a tasty-looking right hand he's been throwing once or twice.
Barnes, who's looked dazzling in some fights, tries the uppercut there, lethargic and cold in others.
Well, there's a bit more urgency in his work now, and that's certainly been required. He's been giving Nuumbembe far too much time to get his punches off, to move around, think what he's doing. This is a little bit better from Barnes. Still a little bit scrappy and disjointed, but an improvement in tempo.
Out of range there, Nuumbembe, and David Barnes was planning for a southpaw in Okine. He'd got his gym mates like Thomas McDonough to switch to that stance, so back fighting an orthodox fight. It's been difficult for him, and you can see as he gets settled.
Definite improvement in Barnes' work here. Not anywhere near his best form, but definitely an improvement. He's taking the initiative a bit more, putting this fellow under some pressure now.
Barnes was actually a spectator at a sparring session just over a week ago with Nuumbembe and the British light middleweight champion Michael Jones, and he noticed Nuumbembe started blowing after 3 or 4 rounds.
But they allowed Nuumbembe to set the pace in the first couple of rounds. You can't do that if you're hoping the other fella's going to run out of steam. You have to draw the steam out of him. This is developing now. This is a good fight now.
So, you saw a masked man?
Aye.
On a horse?
Aye.
And he did this with his sword?
Aye.
Shouting, and I quote, broadband from Tiscali for just $15.99 a month, with modem and connection free. So, did you notice anything else unusual?
Well, $15.99 is very cheap for broadband.
For broadband from just $15.99, call Tiscali now on 0800 107 9000.
On your back foot. Back foot.
A very warm welcome back to the Barnsley Metrodome, where David Barnes is having one of those interesting nights.
Well, the early counter-punching wasn't working. Now he started taking the play away from Nuumbembe. It's scrappy and disjointed at times, but he's taken the initiative. He's got himself in the driving seat, and that was his first good round for me.
Just a little wink down to yourself at ringside from David Barnes there, Jim. I suspect maybe he's starting finally to get into his groove after a very slow beginning.
See, if Nuumbembe has the feeling now he has to come up with something a little bit better, he may start making some mistakes. Then Barnes' counter-punching may start working. But in the first 2 rounds, it certainly didn't. But Nuumbembe himself knows if he wants to stay with them, he'll have to up the tempo. So this is developing nicely.
Nuumbembe may just have taken the call because of what Jimmy Vincent did to David Barnes in his first British title challenge. Many thought the Birmingham Gypsy won that fight clearly down in London. Barnes got the decision and went onwards and upwards. Vincent the mandatory challenger for Barnes' British title again.
See, Adam, we all agree that was a bad verdict, but I think we forget that Barnes showed some good qualities that night. That was a tough night's work, and he actually turned the fight around in the later stages, so I mean, he deserves some credit. He wasn't the one scoring it, so we can't blame him for the lucky verdict. But he showed then that he had a good future ahead of him.
Certainly come on from that. A good learning experience as he tries to think his way through the Nuumbembe guard.
I don't know if Nuumbembe's run out of ideas a little bit, but the trouble is Barnes is not capitalising on that. He's still a little bit too cagey. I mean, too much of this, the fans are going to let them know they want it a bit busier. Both landed a couple of leading shots there.
Yeah, nothing much happened for a minute or so. A lot of nudges and feints, trying to out-fathom the other. It's going to be a difficult one to score.
Yeah, well, they're both working out of range in this round, and it's a pity because the previous round really was a hot one. Good left hand, another one from Barnes, but loses his composure after landing a decent punch. That's surprising.
It's getting closer, David Barnes. Less coming from Nuumbembe, notably.
Yeah, Barnes probably nicked a round, but no way impressive.
The new Micra Urbis is perfectly equipped for city life. Whether it's intelligent parking, smart handling, or simply its capacity to cope with the unexpected. The Micra Urbis also comes with no deposit and a typical rate of...
Right, nice and relaxed, deep breath now. It's going in there, man. Come right left hand, Jeff, right hand. Come on, Dave, you're the go here. Go every round, getting chunky control.
Two-handed combinations, says the venerable Manchester trainer Brian Hughes, who's delighted that his charge Robin Reed has got a shot at the world super middleweight champion Jeff Lacey. He thinks Barnes is going to be a world champion, but he's got domestic business to deal with here. The Gloucester-based fighter Ali Nuumbembe, who's giving his all. Can he actually win the fight? Pretty sort of level, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Brian Hughes seems to think Barnes, unless it's a bit of psychology, he seems to think Barnes is well in front. I have it dead level. I have 2 rounds apiece with one even. Had Nuumbembe winning the first 2 simply because Barnes did virtually nothing. Still a little bit too cagey for my liking, flicking with the southpaw jab when he should be really snapping it out.
It's the red and black boots and shorts of the former lieutenant in the Namibian Defence Force, who stayed in Britain, Ali Nuumbembe, after winning a bronze at the Commonwealth Games and defeating Barnes' stablemate Tony Doherty on the way.
Couple of good attacks there from Nuumbembe. You can see he's still thinking, he's not doing any silly things. You can actually see the look of concentration in his face there. Just little feints, trying to find a way in. Barnes is letting things slip a little bit again, going on that back foot.
Tucked away on the dinner circuit, Nuumbembe. A couple of latest wins over Lee Armstrong and Francis Jones. Hasn't lost too many rounds as a professional.
Nuumbembe doesn't have a great variety of punching, which may let him down over the 12 rounds here. It's a kind of straight left, straight right, pretty straightforward type of boxing, so I wonder if Barnes solves that out, maybe he can exploit it, but not really taking charge yet.
We're already in the 6th round, Jim.
Yeah, he should be stamping his authority on this fight by now, but still a little bit too cagey for my liking, flicking out with the jab.
Chess match stage of the fight. Jabs from Nuumbembe, and Barnes tries a left hook of his own, but inside of the glove.
When he's put under pressure, Nuumbembe's defence lets him down, so you wonder why Barnes doesn't really take the bull by the horns a little bit more, even 3 or 4 or 5 bursts in every round. He could punish him. But still 2-1 paced, and again, Nuumbembe looking like the one in the driving seat again.
One of those odd sort of performances. Let's see how Ricky Hatton's seeing things with Ed Robinson.
Well, Ricky, is David being too cautious?
I think he is being too cautious. He seems to be standing off, and it seems to be playing. They both seem to be playing the chess match. But I think David Barnes seems to be having his successes when he seems to open up with combinations, you know. And But, you know, Ali Nuumbembe is having his successes as well, you know, so it's a bit of a chess game and it's very nip and tuck at this stage.
What should David do? Should he stamp his authority a little bit more?
I think he does. I think Ali Nuumbembe is not... he's not been over 6 rounds, and I think that'll be a telling factor in the fight. I think the second half, you know, David will come on, but I think he needs to put his foot on the gas now, because I think Ali will be absolutely full of confidence, and it's a proper chess game now. But David, when he puts his foot on the gas, that's when he has most of his success, I think.
Thank you, Ricky.
Thoughts of Ricky Hatton, who ranks up his sparring next week. And these two former sparring partners having to go to battle for real. Ali Nuumbembe, the 26-year-old who took this dream opportunity and is taking it to David Barnes. And on your card, Jimmy's up.
Yep, Barnes is not doing enough. He's far too cagey, flicking with a jab. The odd success, but for me, the quality punches, although having said that, the previous round was, as Ricky said, more of a chess match. But Nuumbembe, for me, is putting a little bit more into the fight.
We saw earlier that statistic about the knockout power, and Barnes certainly hasn't been able to drive his shots home. One of his former opponents, Glenn McLarnon, who he outpointed, said that he was very surprised he couldn't hit that hard, Barnes.
See, when he raises the tempo, Nuumbembe doesn't have to cope. This is good action. He wants to stay there and let some punches flow. Nuumbembe's defences are scattered quickly there.
But back he comes, Nuumbembe. Action heats up here in the 7th. Just targeting the body at times, Barnes. Is that the tactic?
Still Nuumbembe pushing Barnes round in the clockwise direction. It's amazing Barnes hasn't tumbled that yet and tried to counter that step across him.
And Jim, still his fans on their feet over there making quite a racket.
Yeah, well, he's making a name for himself tonight. He's putting up a real good show. It's just when Barnes raises the tempo, that little bit class, that little bit of experience takes over. But he won't sustain. He's not putting enough into this. This is certainly an improvement in this round.
There's the jab, the southpaw style of Barnes.
I mean, a southpaw jab can be the most sickening punch in boxing because it's difficult to find an answer. But Barnes is not using it. He's flicking with it. It should be a ramrod jab, a hurtful jab.
Bit of blood to the nose for Nuumbembe. And Barnes getting closer and having more success, but back comes Nuumbembe. Good session. And have a look at that. They follow him everywhere, Ali Nuumbembe. The Beehive pub in Glossop. Value for money.
Well, it shows you this is the potential to be a real quality fight when you see them getting down to work and letting the punches flow. Another excellent finish to that round. It makes you forget that the chess match that we've had in some of the rounds. This is real good action. And this is where Barnes takes over. He seems to be physically stronger than Nuumbembe. Better punch variety, throws them from unusual angles, which Nuumbembe seems to have difficulty coping with. But he wants to keep the pace up.
Have a look at that. Very, very close.
Well, that certainly reflects my scorecard, doesn't it? I mean, I have it bang on level.
Extremely tight. Thomas just calls the two fighters together. Third hairstyle in a week for David Barnes. He's changed that a few times. He was here early watching other fights. His his mind really on the job tonight. Has not looked as good as he has in the past. And Ali Nuumbembe very much part of this, involved. And it's got to be tight.
Well, Barnes is trying to come forward now. Maybe he feels the halfway stage is where he should start taking over. Maybe he's been saving a little bit for that, I don't know. Or maybe I'm just making excuses for him.
This was the round where he picked apart the brave challenge of Kevin McIntyre in a defence of his British title 15 months ago in Manchester. Still doesn't look totally happy.
No, but there's no smoothness in his work. And at times his chin is showing up in unusual places down beside Nuumbembe's hips. He's not in a position to punch. He's not in a position to defend. I don't know what's gone wrong tonight. There's no smoothness in his work.
A real fight for the centre of the ring, as Barnes just tries to push Nuumbembe back. But the spirit of the Namibian thirst for this victory is huge.
Well, taking the initiative a little bit more now, Barnes. High time, I would say. I mean, nobody really likes being put under pressure, but Nuumbembe, with his inexperience, you would think really it would be an easy target if Barnes could put him under pressure and sustain it.
And this is the 100th round of David Barnes' professional career, and only the 66th of Ali Nuumbembe.
See, Barnes is making Nuumbembe work now. This is different. Even if it's not good, clean-cut boxing, he's winning on volume of punches and work, and he's making Nuumbembe work. Nuumbembe's not prepared for a 12-rounder, so he should have been doing this several rounds before now.
Not much coming from Nuumbembe in that one. This is where the century rounds of boxing has taken David Barnes to number 3, we believe, in the British rankings. Jawed Khalik, who's been plagued by inactivity, the IBO champion. Where on earth has he gone? Eamon McGee, who made his reappearance, beating Alan Vester recently. Neil Sinclair, unlucky on that show. James Hare, who David Barnes looked absolutely phenomenal against. That hasn't been repeated here.
No, I don't know, maybe the fight has come a couple of weeks early. Maybe the sparring wasn't at the level you would like to have had it at. Maybe the timing is not just perfect, but a lot of his boxing's been disjointed. And you can see, okay, I mean, these are wide punches, but when he throws with a couple and misses, he's well off balance, not really in the position to counter or defend properly.
4 rounds to go, and we have 3 judges at ringside. Roy Francis, Dave Paris and Mickey Vann, should it go the distance. I wonder what they're reading into the event. A tepid start from David Barnes, no doubt about that, but he's come back in patches, shown us his class, but no fluency yet. There's a lot of waiting.
See, Barnes is a natural counter-puncher. So when he's in top, all fighters will attack when they're in top. But I think his natural instinct is to draw mistakes from an opponent, punish them. When he gets in top, then comes the aggression. So I think he spent too many to punch this fellow. And Nuumbembe, as I've said a couple of times, he's pretty precise. He doesn't do too many silly things. So counter-punching hasn't worked, and it hasn't looked good at times.
Their skills honed in the amateurs, 5-time national schools champion. Didn't really make it as a senior, though. David Barnes had a few out-of-the-ring problems. Also been plagued by bad hands. But he's got abilities, 24. There's plenty to work with. Got to get the win here, though.
Well, I would say things have swung in his favour. I mean, he's certainly producing better work. Nuumbembe run out of ideas a little bit. I mean, he would have to be throwing caution to the wind now. His careful cagey boxing's not getting the result, so you have to try something else. And as yet, it hasn't come up with something else.
To go 10 rounds when he fought for the vacant Namibian title, beaten by Bethuel Ushona, but he was furious, Ali Nuumbembe, about that decision. Never been 12, though, and Barnes has on a couple of occasions.
I'd say at this stage, Nuumbembe needs a bit more intensity in his attitude. Neil has to put that little bit of devil that he was showing in the early rounds. He's settled down a little bit, maybe feeling the pace now. He can't be prepared for 12. Good shots here.
Body shots from Nuumbembe, and Barnes caught napping on the ropes momentarily. Well, a good finish to the round. Whether he did enough to win it, who knows? According to the statistics, it could hardly be any tighter than that. General feeling, though?
I think the fight is just beginning to swing slightly Barnes' way. I think Nuumbembe's tiring a little bit. There's not the same snap in his punches. He's coming back with counters. See what they're telling him here.
Don't wait now, David. David, don't wait now. Speed it up, David. Speed it up now. Finish him off. Right. Nice deep breath. Stay there. Put him into them shots. Yeah. Stay there, son. Stay there.
It's Brian Hughes and his Collyhurst team feel that Nuumbembe may just start to tire over these last 9 minutes of boxing. Whatever happens, it's been a tremendous effort from Ali Nuumbembe to come in this week and take the British welterweight champion even this far. I mean, makes a mockery of the odds.
Yeah, I mean, having said that, he was in shape. He was due to be boxing in Glasgow, I think, just next week, although I believe it was just an 8-2-minute rounder. So he has been in shape. But you would expect the last third of the fight, Barnes really to take over. But when you have to go and do it, you can't wait for the other fella to tire. You have to make him tire, make him work.
We'll talk of Barnes meeting the Newport puncher Bradley Price, and theories have been boxing on Ricky Hatton's bill in June, but maybe they preoccupied the mind of the complicated Partington boxer.
Well, some good work again from Nuumbembe. He's finding the range with a right hand.
Again, Barnes paused with that jab.
Yeah, but he's just flicking him. Even if it lands, you can't call that a punch. Right hand, they're just missing the whisker there from Nuumbembe. Jab working, yes.
Never been phased, Ali Nuumbembe. Stuck his ground, done what he knows how to do. Very fit, and he's coming on strong here in the 10th.
This is exactly what Nuumbembe needed. He needed to find the target with some solid right hands to just regain some of that earlier confidence. Barnes has gone to sleep again. There's that right hand again.
Bob Shannon, Nigel Hardman, really imploring Ali Nuumbembe on here from the red corner alongside us. And look at this.
straight through. He's just stepping in, getting his feet that little bit closer, and it's making all the difference. I've never seen Barnes' defence so poor. So Nuumbembe's just stepping a little half step closer, and the range is there for that right hand. There it is again.
And those 100 or so fans to our right who travelled over from the Snake Pass are absolutely loving every minute of this. It's been outworked, David Barnes, in this one.
He's won that round. Right, that's him. You're getting it too much now, Dave, that round. Nice. That's beautiful, beautiful. Give him a drink, that girl. How do you feel, David? All right. Right. Hands up high now. Make him miss again now. Just pick the points up. If you get the opportunity, then you can bang the shots in. If you don't, just box him. He was winning it easy. He won that round. And it's given him a bit of confidence, so he come at you again now. Make him miss. Get off them ropes right away. Right? As soon as your back touches him, slip off him. And he'll fall into him.
He was finding the range for the first time, finding the range regularly with the right hand. Now and again, isolated incidents, he's managed to land that right. But in that round, they could hardly miss with it.
One or two eyebrows being raised around ringside here. David Barnes, remember, unbeaten in 17 fights since he turned professional at the age of 20 in July 2001. Could that O go tonight? Nuumbembe now further than he's ever been as a professional into the 11th round and bouncing on his feet and still looking fresh.
Well, I think Nuumbembe has had a good round just when it matters most, just when maybe you feel things are going against you. You have a big round, and that was, for me, that was the biggest round of the fight. Just when he needs it and his confidence is back up again.
Brian Hughes was saying if you can't get the straight punches through, just box him. Just see yourself home. But it's a lot closer than that, at least you think.
Yep, I certainly do think, and I think Barnes should be stepping in with the punches. You have to discourage this kind of opponent. See, if he comes through these little flicks, lands his own better punches, Barnes has to put snap into the shots. He's not doing that.
Collection of right hands from Ali Nuumbembe and a left hook for good measure. And they're getting really excited in the Shannon corner.
See, Barnes is a different fighter when he comes forward. He manages to scatter the defences of Nuumbembe. He has to, if he wants to win this title, okay, it's not an important title, he already has a more important one, but he's going to have to sustain the work here.
Yeah, it's just an intercontinental belt. Doesn't mean much in the world of boxing. But it will do to David Barnes if he comes a cropper here.
Well, Barnes is digging in when it counts most. This is a hard round for him. He's had to turn this around. He's just about managing to do that, but it was a bad start to the round for him.
Not an easy one. Former sparring partners, late notice job really for the pair of them. So easy to see why David Barnes has had an indifferent sort of night.
But I think if Barnes watches the tape, he will realise that he should have been coming forward a lot more often than he did. For me, he's given Nuumbembe far too much time, too many opportunities to get his punches off. When he pushes him back, it's a different fight altogether. This is better work now from Barnes. Finished the round with some sloppy defending, but still a decent round for him.
Wow, have a look at that. 5 more on the computer to Nuumbembe. You've been in boxing many years. Can you predict a winner?
Well, I think the problem with this, there's so many chess rounds. When you can see Barnes has the experience, but it hasn't really been all that evident over the 12 rounds. But the chess rounds are what swing this type of fight. So many rounds, as you see, I have them just nicking the last, just going ahead in the later stages of the fight. But still, I mean, obviously on my card, Nuumbembe needs a big round, or at least a knockdown. But I feel in my heart that Barnes is just maybe doing enough to nick this, but not a good performance, really.
And of course, he is the Sports Network promoted fighter, so really the home fighter, David Barnes. Will that give him an edge on the scorecards? Final 3 minutes as the Glossop faithful give rounding cheers one more time to their fighter, who's put up a tremendous effort from the opening bell to do this to the British champion. Look how much he wants it.
Yep, he's really going for broke here. But this is where Barnes has to meet him head on. If he's backed off, he's taken second prize. He has to stand his ground and try to drive this fellow back.
Hasn't really stopped working, Ali Nuumbembe. First 12-round fight, step up in levels, and he took the fight on Monday. But there goes the crisp combinations of David Barnes, few and far between, but will they just catch the eye of the judges that bit more?
See a little bit of lack of experience in Nuumbembe again here in a fight that you feel is close. I feel it's close, I'm sure most people do. In the last round, if you think it hinges in the last round, don't be good in the first minute. Save the first minute and finish the last 2 minutes strongly to turn the judges in your favour. But Nuumbembe's done a lot of work in the first minute, and he'll probably start losing his grip a little bit now. Again, experience.
Maybe a touch of inexperience as he raised his right fist aloft with a minute and a half to go. And look at David Barnes coming on strong. Is he going to turn it here back in his favour in this last session? Good burst.
See, again, he's turning around, all the way around again, which is a sign of character. I mean, as I say, Nuumbembe maybe regretting he didn't save his better work in the last round for the second half of the round. These are things you just have to learn through.
Look at the two now, really trying to fight it out. Nuumbembe talking to Barnes in there. Friends and sparring partners outside the ring, but inside it, who is going to get the nod? Who's done that bit more in the judges' eyes?
Yep, full credit to Nuumbembe. If the judges have been kinder to him than I have, then good luck to him. I wouldn't regret that because he's put everything into this. Tremendous battle.
Both raise their arms aloft, and Ali Nuumbembe is carried around the ring. It's a terrific night for him, even if he doesn't get the nod. Carl-Ince is smiling. They probably think they've done enough. David Barnes certainly does. And those are the final stats. Success rate just to Barnes and just landed more, Jim.
Yeah, I think in the last third of the fight, he's just managed to turn it around. I mean, full credit to Nuumbembe. The 11th and 12th, real hard rounds. Not an easy fight to score because of the quiet rounds in the middle, and that's what's going to turn it one way or the other. I feel Barnes has managed to pull away and win this title. There, as you can see, I've given him 3 out of the last 4 rounds, although they were all tough. If you want to see them differently, fine. But I feel Barnes has done enough. Not his best performance, but I feel he's done enough to win tonight.
The scorecards being added up. Roy Francis, Dave Paris, Mickey Van, all experienced British officials, and it will be fascinating to see how they have got it. So a feeling that David Barnes will keep his unbeaten record and that this man is a very, very valiant loser, or has he got the win of his life? Sort of a confidence around the Barnes camp now, isn't there?
Yeah, but I mean, it is the type of fight you wouldn't be too upset if Nuumbembe got the breaks. I don't think he fully deserves it. For the effort he put in, he certainly does, but I feel it went against him.
Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the judges' scorecards. Judge Dave Paris scores the contest 115 to 114 for Nuumbembe. Judge Mickey Van sees the contest 116 to 114 for Barnes. And Judge Roy Francis sees the contest 115 to 115. The result is a draw. The championship is still vacant. Ladies and gentlemen, your appreciation.
The judges have it as a draw. Mickey Van, 2 to Barnes. Dave Paris, 1 to Nuumbembe. And then it could not be split by Roy Francis.
Well, 3 experienced officials who couldn't agree. So it was close, and we knew it was close.